Well, guys, I finally made it back up, and we're back here with Gelin, down in Gelin's shop. Sorry it took so long, Gelin, to get back here. I apologize. I've been busy. I know you've probably been busy. How's business been for you?
It's been great. I'm sorry it took so long for this coin to get graded, but it's finally back. Happy to show everybody the results, and we're not going to keep you guys from that. We're going to hold her up and show everybody that she came back a proof 62. Her next trip is going to be going to CAC. We're going to see if she'll stick her. But anyone who guessed 62, good job. That's what me and Nate had actually talked. We figured it would go a 2 or a 3. So they gave it 2. Even though it looks super amazing, it does have a little bit of wiping on it. It's really hard to see on the camera, I'm sure. But coin came back awesome grade. We're very happy with it. And it might get tucked away into my private collection. I haven't made that decision yet. So
yeah, we'll guys, it's a good job. A lot of you guys did guess that along with us. That was really cool to see. But Gelin, that's just the tip. But you got something really fascinating, cool one that we talked about when we were at Citrus Coin Show, right?
Yeah. So I had another dealer friend of mine come down, and he knew I had been looking for one of these for a long time, and I've really wanted one for a long time. This is an 1853 U.S. Assay's Office $20 gold piece. Now, some of you may know what that is, but if you don't, before the San Francisco Mint got established, they needed a way to make money in California. So there was, I think, 6 or 7 branches that they opened for the Assay's Office, and this is genuine, guys. I broke it out of the holder because I wanted to look at the issues with it. It does have a rim test cut, which is okay. It's still a super rare coin. But they made a couple of denominations for these. I want to say they made 10s, they made 20s. I think there's a couple 50s out there. Don't hold me to that. But they're really untalked about, and this is really what they did before the Mint got established to help finance everything over there to actually turn stuff over.
Do you mind? Let's give people a little bit better, like a real close-up view of show them. So on the obverse, you had the eagle here with the denomination, which is really cool. But the front,
yeah, I love the backs.
These.
I kind of wish they would have stuck with, like, I like the simplicity of it. I think it's really, really straightforward.
Make sure I get it the right way for you guys so you can read it. And let's zoom in a little bit on it. It says the United States Assay Office of Gold, San Francisco, California, 1853. Yep. Really cool piece, guys. These are really, really rare.
Yeah, so I want to say they think there's about, for this particular one, I think there's like 600 known, like around 600 known. And the cool thing is this is actually the 900 variant of the coin, the 0.900 thousand. There is I think it's like 884. So obviously that's the purity of the gold. So you had 88.4, and then you had 900. So it's how they refined it. And actually on that, if you guys didn't know, most people don't realize that the gold that comes out of the ground actually has to be refined even further because of the impurities. So you can actually, if you get really good at looking at colors on gold coins, you can actually tell where a lot of the gold came out of the ground. If you ever look at any of the Dahlonega or Charlotte gold or the early Philadelphia gold, it's very dark orange because it's very dark orange because the gold over there was just mixed with a bunch of stuff. So you'll see like a really pretty dark orange toning coming on some of that early gold.
And that's really cool to see too, which is really awesome to know that fact about the gold in different areas, which is really cool to know about. Oh man, that's such a great coin, guys. If you never get to see one of those in your personal life, it is a really cool coin, guys. And this is actually probably the second one I've seen. I haven't seen the one that size. Guy got one many moons ago, a smaller one.
It was rare enough. It was kind of one of those coins that I've held out for so long, and it's 100% not for sale, not even remotely. That thing's going to sit in my safe for the next 20 or 30 years before I even think about selling it. And then the other coin I picked up, if you were live with Nate at the West Hernando Coin Show, Old Gelin here found a 1908S Indian with a gold CAC sticker. And this also went into my personal collection because obviously with my business card, I wonder what coins Glenn likes. So, you know, pretty simple for that. Just a beautiful, beautiful coin. Gold CACs, for you guys who don't know, you're probably used to the green stickers. The gold CACs are basically to tell you, hey, that coin is undergraded. We think it's at least a point higher. The trend that most people tend to see with gold CACs, though, is they're usually two. You'll see two jumps on the coin. But this Indian is absolutely just spectacular. I loved it, and I was very grateful to put it away in my collection.
Now, do you think with having, this is an interesting question to ask to people, but having a company like CAC say, hey, it is 2 grades better than what PCGS thinks, do you think that's a conflict of interest in some points, or do you think it's a good thing to have a second company kind of look at it and give their opinion on it as well?
It's definitely had its place in the market. With CAC-G, so CAC-G is a grading company now. Well, CAC is still separated from CAC-G. They're 2 different companies. A lot of people don't know that. So John Albanese does the CAC stickers, and then I know he's involved in CAC-G, but I don't think he's running it. I don't know the whole spiel there, but I do kind of like it. It's you know, it's kind of like saying, hey, this coin's perfect, or hey, this coin's not perfect. You could have graded this better. You know, do I think it's kind of like an audit for the bigger companies. That's how I've always looked at it. CAC is auditing whether NGC or PCGS are grading correctly. You know, typically if you send something to CAC and it doesn't sticker, that CAC's saying, hey, you know, this is it's a B or it's a C quality coin. So, like, let's say you have an 85cc and you send it and it's in a 65 holder. Okay, well, it's not pretty. It's not a good looking coin. You know. But for a 64, it would have been an amazing coin. 64 would have been a better grade for it. CAC is kind of like saying, hey, here's our stamp of approval. We're tougher on grading coins than anybody else. So we're going to tell you, hey, this is a appropriately graded coin. I do like that. I mean, it gives you, it establishes some confidence in the grading. But it's also, we're to the point now where I feel like grading's gotten very political, and not just for CAC. And it's something that dealers don't talk about a lot. And you know, you want to argue that it's not political. You know, anybody can send a coin in and get the grade, but I can tell you this. I personally send coins through a buddy of mine who will remain unnamed. But I send a lot of my coins out through a bigger dealer because I've personally gotten better grades by sending them out. Like, I've submitted coins through other people and gotten better grades than if I submit them. And I don't think that's right. I think that's super wrong. There's nothing about this hobby that should be political. It's about the hobby. But when money, just like anything in life, when money gets involved, it changes how things are viewed. You know, you don't think about it, but like this coin's a great example. In an AU, it's 10 grand, and a mint state, it's 30 or 40 grand. You know, it's one of those things where it makes a huge difference. You know, one grade can be 20 grand. The 84S Morgan is a great example. Nate, you know that coin as well as I do. And in an AU 58, it's a couple $1,000s, and then in a 60, it's over 10,000. But you know, the running joke has been that an AU 58 could be an MS 61, or vice versa, because the grades are so minute. So, but you'll see more of those coins in 58s because if they keep adding to the population, it's going to bring down the value of these other coins. You know, the 93S Morgan, they're more lenient on. You know, there's coins that they're more generous to. You know, the grading scale was designed to be the same across the board for all coins, but we know for a fact that's not the case.
Yep.
we've really moved from we've gone away from standard grading. And if you guys ever get a chance to sit down with a grader and talk to them about this, it's actually a really good idea. You know, we talk about the Sheldon scale all the time. That's the scale we used to grade from 1 to 70. But we've perverted this Sheldon scale. That's probably the word to use. I would say that we now market grade. So we're grading coins based off their value, not their actual grade. You know, and that really goes for your upper grades. You know, anyone can grade, and you know, this is the way I look at it. Anybody can grade a low grade coin. You know, it's not hard to go through the scale and figure that out. But when you get to your big ticket blue chip coins, like your 93S's, your, you know, 93CCs and stuff like that, and you get them in AU or better, you start to see a little bit more resistance in getting it into a higher grade, you know. And we see it all the time. You know, there's dealers, it shows that they've made a living off going and looking at coins, and they're like, hey, I'm going to buy this 84S because I know that I can get it into a 60 holder or 61 holder. So they'll buy the coin from somebody who had it sent out graded and it came back a 58. And because that dealer or someone is bigger, they'll get it into a 60 or 61 holder. Well, I've seen it. I've witnessed it. So, you know, and that's wrong. You know, PCGS and NGC are awesome companies. CAC is an awesome company. I love what they do. But there's some politics involved, you know. If somebody's having 10,000 coins graded a year, that customer's going to be treated a little bit better than a customer that only has 1 or 2 submitted a year. But you know, if the way to keep a hobby honest is to hold everybody to the same standards.
I agree. Well, that's a curious point you're talking about that, and I think a situation is coming up soon, December 11th. I think on the Thursday they're auctioning off the 3-coin penny sets.
Yeah.
Now there's only 232 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't all those be strike 70s? Or they should all be 69s, correct? Because you're using a die for only 232 strikes.
Look at this. You know, they posted the video or the photo that they did of one of the Omegas, one of the 5. You know, they only did 5 of the Omega pennies. Well, guess what? The mint director's holding one in his fingers. No gloves, nothing. He's holding it in his bare hands. Guess which coin's not going to be a perfect coin? The other 4 are going to be great, but he's literally doing this. You can see, it's like, hey, that coin will forever have a thumbprint on it, or a fingerprint.
That one goes to the Smithsonian.
Yeah, that's the one they need to send to the Smithsonian, which that's a whole nother cat. But you know, you're right. Every one of those coins, because they're not entering circulation, and I actually don't like that either. I'm not a big fan of the mint making stuff and giving it out to auction. Like, you know, you make coins for the people, you know, this is literally you know, let the public have an opportunity to find these. And that's my opinion on that. Like, you let the public have a chance. You know, I loved how they did the Privy Eagles, the new ones, the gold ones, the medals. Mm-hmm. Everybody had a chance of getting the silver one. But then the gold ones, they auctioned off. And it's like, you know, why? Because of the money. They knew they were going to go for stupid money, and they wanted to make that money. And, you know, the government, you know, it makes you realize the government's a business, you know. But, you know, I love how they did the silver ones. They just sent them out, and you didn't know. It was a game. Hey, maybe you got one. You know, I didn't get one. I'm sad, but I want it. But, you know, it is what it is. And that's what I thought they should have done. I would have rather they upped the mintage of those and sent them out, or sold them on the mint website instead of auctioning them, because all it's going to do auctioning them is the dealers or big rich private collectors are going to be the only people who can get them.
Yeah.
And that's it. You know, this hobby, we're not the kings of old. This hobby is for everybody now. And the only way it's going to be for everybody is if everybody is treated equally in it. And, you know, and I know there's this huge argument of, you know, oh, dealers always win. Dealers are always winning. this is how I pay my bills. I have to win. If I'm not winning, I'm not paying my bills. And I guess from my perspective, I have to look at the Mint is the largest coin dealer in the world, so they have to win too. But even I'm like, I don't really like it. So.
Well, the one thing I do commend them is they're actually going to hold to a number. Like back when they did the Kennedy 3/4 ounce golds, or like at first they said, oh, we're going to let this many out. And they're like, oh wait, we sold those. Like, oh, well, we're gonna up the number. So at least this one, I tip my hat to the Mint for saying we're sticking to it.
233, yeah.
232 sets are made of a P, one with the omega, a D with the omega, and a gold with the omega.
Well, it's 30. They say 32, but I bet you it's 33 because a set's going to the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
So there's no way there's not.
Yeah.
But at least they said, hey, we're sticking to this. Well, and they did the same thing with the Sacagawea golds. It's the first time they've ever done a Sacagawea in gold. They sold those on the Mint website. What makes the pennies any different?
Yeah.
They're not making you see Sacagaweas in the proof sets and stuff. No one has said anything that I'm aware of that they're not going to put a penny in the proof sets.
No, they're still going to have pennies for the proof sets and the Mint sets.
So guess what? The penny's not obsolete. That's the equivalent of saying the Kennedy's obsolete. It's not. They still put them in the proof sets. So guess what? They still making the penny. That's the, but now do they lower the rarity? Now we're going to see, 500,000, 600,000 pennies in these proof sets. So, for your penny collectors out there, if they're still going to put them in the proof sets, guess what? You're still going to have holes you got to fill, and that, my opinion is they should have just discontinued it completely. That if you're going to do something like this and make a number 5, you're going to make 5. You're copying the V-nickel from 1913. You're only making 5. Those pennies are going to sell for probably millions of dollars. Well, guess what? End it there. No more pennies. That's the way they should have done it. But now there's going to be a 2026 proof penny. There's going to be a 2027 proof penny. If you're going to end it on a high note, end it. Don't have something else. Yeah. That's my opinion on that.
Well, then I also like a funny thing was I talked with Guy about it, and then people in the comment sections were kind of cool. I got some guy from Canada that mentioned it in Australia. They're both like, hey, we've stopped the pennies years ago, and it hasn't affected prices or anything like that. And people are like, oh, well, you dealers, as a dealer, you guys are trying to lowball it because then it gives you an opportunity to buy them up and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not buying any. I'm not going to buy any 2025 pennies.
We're not buying them. Yeah, we're not buying them when they come in. They're change. That's the way I get. If I get them, we're not selling them. I do know dealers that are, but I'm not buying 2025 pennies. It's just like I don't buy Susan B. Anthony dollars. I don't want to buy Sacagawea dollars. Do we have them in here? Absolutely, because they come in with deals. But I'm not trying to buy that stuff. Same thing with Ike dollars. I throw my Ike dollars into my bargain bin I have in the corner. Well, guess what? When a kid comes in here, I'm going to give that kid $1 for free. Or we sell them for, and we throw them in there at $2 a piece, but we're not actively trying to buy. You come in with a 5,000 bag of Ikes, I'm not really wanting it. But it's the same thing for the 2025 pennies. They still made a ton of them. They're out there. Don't get me wrong. Do I think that pennies are going to become more valuable? Absolutely, because they're discontinuing them. But I don't think it's going to be this huge, massive rise up. Guess what? I did the numbers. It's because I was curious and I did it. I think they made 600 billion or 620 billion pennies since 1909.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? 1909 pennies are common. I throw them into my wheat penny box for 6 cents a piece. Could I get $1 or $2 for them? Probably, but they're not rare. The 1911 Philadelphia, 1910 Philly, 1912 Philly, they're common dates. We sell them for 6 cents in here. They're everywhere. We sell, I don't even sell my pennies by the roll. I sell them by the pound. I weigh them. I don't even count them. I weigh them on my scale and do the math. That's how we sell them in here. It's just one of those things where the wheat pennies would be going up astronomically if this was going to affect it. Then nothing's changed. The wheat pennies are over 100 years old. You have to think about it. 1909 was a long time ago. You know, 1925 was a long time ago. Guess what? The 1925 penny, they're not expensive. You can get as many as you want for, you know, between 3 to 10 cents a piece. So, you know, I think the amount of money pennies are worth is more valued by the price of copper than it is the price of collectability. So that's where we've gotten.
Yeah, it's been interesting to hear about it, and I like hearing people's views on it. Well, let's. What's new in the shop? You want to do a little peruse around? And show
we're starting a bid board.
Yeah, let's go show. I think this is a good idea, guys. Let's go talk about this. This is pretty interesting.
So this is a way that we're trying to make it for people to have an opportunity to buy stuff that they usually wouldn't. We're starting it in December. We got a rules list going. It's not perfect, but we're gonna throw, you know, some coins in here that are a little bit harder. You know, 31S Buffalo nickel, 24S Buffalo nickel, 16S Buffalo nickel, and we put minimum bids on here. You do have to sign up for it, and basically we have it set to where you can bid on the coins. If you win, you put your bid in. If you win the bid, you leave us your phone number when you sign up, and we call you, and you come and pick up your coins. But yeah, you know, we're putting, you know, like we put seeded stuff in here. We put, you know, $50 and stuff like that. It gives people an opportunity to try to get stuff that they normally wouldn't get. You know, and as time goes, as we build it, we'll start putting some better stuff in there and some neater stuff. But it's a great opportunity for people to get stuff that they usually couldn't afford. Because guess what? I got news for you. You know, they do start at minimums, but if you're the only person that bids, guess what? You win it at that number. If it's under melt, hey, cool, you got a coin for under melt. This is a way to just try to engage with our public. We want our public to come in. We want them to be able to go in here, bid on stuff. You know, it is locked. I did have to lock it because I wanted to make sure nothing gross feet. But, you know, it's, hey, I want to bid on this coin. Not a problem. We'll come in, let you do it. You'll sign up. We have bidding numbers for everything. They are going to run about for 2 weeks. We're going to do about 2 weeks for them. So you have about 2 weeks for people to come in and bid. And then the cool thing that we're doing, guys, is we're not going to, if it doesn't go, if no one bids on something, this entire board gets swapped out. So if something doesn't go, guess what? We're taking all of it off. We're going to put in new stuff every 2 weeks. It's going to be a different board, all that fun stuff. I did pick up a kind of...
One quick thing though, guys, just so I know, this is for in-person only. So
yes.
If you're watching this video and you're not local, sorry. Maybe Glenn will work on something for you guys separately. We'll figure it out maybe down the road. But for right now, this is only in-person only.
Yep.
So I apologize, but he does, you know, you can always call him. He might have the coin, still give you a good deal on one as well. So, but this is just for in-person only.
And we are working on getting our shipping going. It's in progress, but they're getting the insurance is my next goal to be able to ship out, because the post office insurance is questionable.
Yeah.
So, I did get a neat coin. What did I do with it? Coin that everybody will love, that you don't see very often.
Ooh, may I?
Yeah, of course. 89cc and a VF35.
Zoom in a little bit.
The king.
Yeah, that's a nice coin, guys.
Yeah, it is a good looking coin.
That's a strong VF. Very cool. You don't get to see these often like this, guys. 3,200 it can be yours. Give them a call. We'll figure out shipping then.
Yeah, shipping's easy. I just gotta make sure. I love new faces, though. I do say that. I enjoy sitting and talking with everybody. You guys think I talk a lot in my videos. You should see me in person. Pat laughing at me over there. Should have cleaned my cases off today.
Guys, you don't see this too often. He's got two 1893 S's here, guys. That's cool to see. Those are high-end.
I sold 6 of them at Lakeland.
Wow.
Yeah. There's a 19030 and a 65.
Ooh, that's a pretty one.
Yeah. This is the coin, guys. That used to be the rarest Morgan dollar you could get. It used to be an O-mint.
And then all of a sudden they found
and then they found
boatload.
the entire mintage in a vault.
Yeah, a truckload in a vault. Like, oh, here they are, guys.
Hey, we forgot about these. You know that? Can you imagine that one guy though who got the bag of them, and who he put out of business when he sold them to somebody? You know it happened. There's no way it didn't.
Gosh, that poor guy.
Yeah,
man.
that poor dealer.
He's like, hey, let me come in.
Oh man, I bought this whole bag of 1903 O's for half of what they're worth, and then they just plummeted. That's awful.
And it happens, guys. I mean, it happens in this business.
They're you know, I've seen a lot of comments on some of the videos that go, and it always talks about the dealers always winning. And you know, the thing is, man, is we don't always win. There are times when we don't win. Bullion is a great example. Nate, you remember when Eagles were going for like $15 over spot?
Oh yeah,
dude. Any dealer that was stuck holding Eagles after they dropped guys, you guys don't hear about it. That put some people out of business. Put quite a few people out of business. You know, it's a hurt. You can get hurt in this industry. The running joke I use is it's a stair. It's stairs going up. The precious metals market is like a stair when it's going up, but it's an elevator when it's coming down. You know, and the thing is you know, you think about it. Who you know, Glenn, why aren't you holding your stuff? Why aren't you? Why'd you sell so much silver? Why'd you sell your gold? I don't want to be the guy holding on to it when it hits the very top. You know, and that's the thing, because if you're holding on to it, you have to remember when silver hits $60 an ounce, or if it goes up to whatever number it gets to, who's buying it? Who's buying it at that level? You know, and that's the scary part, because if it gets to the point to where nobody's buying it, guess what? It's not going to stay at 60 for long, and then it's not going to stay at 50 for long. The market will readjust itself. So, you know, I always encourage people, if you're making good money on your stuff and you're happy where it's at, take your profits. It's you know, we bought before Nate walked in, we bought 200 face and 90%. Okay, no one, there's like 5 people buying 90% right now, and it's a tough market. There's very few people that want to buy 90% silver. I don't even know if the refineries are taking it.
I think they started taking it.
I think they reopened, but it's their price is so low. Yeah, you know, we're getting, you know, $12, $13, $14, $15 or whatever for a $0.50. Well, guess what? The dealers are always going to buy. Like, we are always going to buy, unless it's a rare coin. You know, you come in with a 93S or an 89cc, I'm happy to pay you more, because that's a blue chip coin. You know, just like there's blue chip stocks, there's safety in some of these coins. You know they're going to stay up in value. But when it comes to silver and gold, none of us know what's going to happen. It's all predictions. You know, if I knew gold was going to go to 4,000, I would have put my entire life savings into it, you know, a year or 2 years ago, or whenever it was 2,000 an ounce. You know, it's not perfect, and the dealers are always going to buy at a rate to where we know we can make money, even if we have to sell it to a wholesaler. So we're always going to buy it at that rate. And the thing is, guys, is, you know, keeping the lights on, keeping the bills paid, making sure I can eat, which I do plenty of, as you can see. You know, doing that, it takes time, and it takes a lot of money. You know, this stuff, a lot of this stuff sits in here. A lot of it sits for a long time. Guy and Nate understand it well, because they're dealers. Trust me, there's some stuff that will sit for years before it sells, but you put money into it. I have a term for that, but my guys don't like it. I call it dead money. It's dead money. It sits. And it's not that the coins aren't good, but it's dead money. It's full stop. I can't do anything with it until it moves. So sometimes it's better to just move stuff, take a loss on it, and move on, because you never know what's going to happen.
Right, it's certain people look for certain coins. Some are putting together a typeset. Some are putting together other things.
Let's pause for a second. Hey guys, welcome back. Sorry about that. We had a couple customers come in here. Had to take care of that. I got one little thing to go to show you guys for those paper monies out there, those paper money lovers. We had this come in yesterday. It is a 1906 $20 bill. Ooh, and I love these. The gold backs. The original gold backs. Large size currency, blanket note. Not surprisingly, not a super crazy expensive note. I want to say it's worth around $300. I think we paid the guy around $250, $275 for it. So we pay up for these because I mean, gosh, man, they're so pretty to look at. And look at Washington on a 20. Who doesn't love seeing, all the young guys out there are like, Washington's on a $20 bill? Yeah, Washington was on a $20 bill. So, yeah, I love these, though. Super good history. There are multiple. For those of you guys who don't know, if you ever wondered where the FR number comes from on these, that's how you look them up. Teehee and Burke, and I think this one's Teehee and Burke. Yeah, this one's Teehee and Burke. So that's how you get your FR numbers. You have a signature here and a signature here. You can actually go and find those signatures and figure out which FR this is. And a lot of the time, that's where a lot of your value comes from on these, is what signature group you have. Pat, can you grab me my paper money book? It's up there. I would like to show them. It's the very top book right there. I would love to show them. This is a great book, guys, and they're fairly affordable. You can order them. This is the 30th edition. This is just one of the more common ones. Probably run you like $30-$40. But this is great information. It gives you. So if you guys have ever wondered how, because I don't know the FR numbers on all of them, so I still go to my books or the internet when I need answers. So let's show you guys how to use one of these. So we're gonna go to golds. Should be right here in the front. That's a 50. We need 20s. 20s. There's 20. There we are. So you're gonna go here. So here's your note. $20 gold. And we're gonna look. Oh, that's Spielman in white. That's not the one we got. And that's a 1922. So we need the 1906. So we're gonna go here. We're gonna flip it. We're going to find the note you're looking for, and you're going to look, and you can see you have FR number right here, 1181, series 1906. And look at all these. So for this note, it looks like the Napier FR 1184, the Napier and Thomas note, is the more rare of the notes. Pretty good value on these, though. So, but we still don't see Teehee and Burke on here, so we're going to flip the page because sometimes these are a little weird. And look at that. So we see Teehee and Burke are right here, and it also looks like Parker and Burke did a note together. So that's, sometimes you'll be looking. You can usually identify it by who's there. So it's FR 1186 Teehee and Burke. It's a gold seal, obviously. And choice uncirculated, they're good money, but in low grade, they're about $300. So it's a fairly common note. Great books, guys. Like I said. If anyone ever needs any information on something, if you're unsure, feel free to call me. I'm happy to try to give you an idea what it is. And the library on the wall is open to anybody. So if you guys ever get a chance to come up here and you want to look through some of the books I have, you're more than welcome to them. That's what they're here for. But I figured I'd share this. It's a really neat note. I hope to see you guys soon. And Nate, I hope you enjoyed your visit. I know this is cool, and it looks like we might have a surprise for them. I did pull a coin for you guys this time because I will give Trader B all the credit. These are such pretty holders. He did a great job. But this is the giveaway I'm doing for you guys this time. Nate's going to do this. He's going to run it. I don't know how he's going to run it, but best of luck to everybody. This is a 1962 Franklin half dollar and a 64, and it's just a neat holder. So, shout out to Trader B. I love his holders. He's done an awesome job. It's, I really hope you guys win this. Good luck to all of you guys. God bless you. God bless America. And I hope everybody has a great Christmas, a great Thanksgiving. Just enjoy yourselves and enjoy the food. Y'all be safe and God bless.